Okay. Excuse me. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic, Less Known Classic. This episode number 2470. 2483 and Doubleshot 2377. First up, we have the final thing discussed for Daredevil and Luke Cage, Marvel Masterworks. Well, the last one discussed for him because with that, after that one's finished up, when I finish talking with that one, next thing to talk about for Luke Cage will be the first of 4 volumes for Power Man and Iron Fist. We'll discuss the reason soon. First up we have is the classic Daredevil Born Again. Frank Miller's brief return to Daredevil until tonight. After the story wraps up, he does not do anything with Daredevil again until he does Daredevil Man Without Fear miniseries released in the early 90s, where he has John Mia Jr. on the artwork. Yep. Now, this book, it collects issues 226 to 233. 226 to 227. It's simply a 2-parter where we had the return of Gladiator here for a 2-part appearance. What is anything to Born Again? Absolutely nothing. I do gotta admit, seeing the Gladiator again is really cool. Except they changed his design, where he's like a Roman gladiator now, instead with a buzzsaw type of thing that he's known for having. Yeah, so it's mostly that. Now, this issue in particular, Frank Miller does write this issue, but he co-does it with Denny O'Neil. Because Denny O'Neil, for the most part, had taken over the book after Frank Miller left, with the exception of a handful of issues. Yeah, and basically, I think Denny O'Neil was done with the book right after this 2-parter. Actually, like a standalone issue, I think this was. 227, I think this one is actually the official start of Born Again. Born Again. Nowhere things happen in this storyline. The Kingpin finds out Matt Murdock is Daredevil. How? Because Karen Page sold the identity of Matt Murdock as Daredevil for drugs. Matt Murdock loses his law license here. His home is destroyed. He meets his mother for the first time, though she denies the fact she is his mother. This is actually Sister Margaret. Yes, despite the fact that this woman kind of actually is Matt's mother, she denies it. Yep. We also see Captain America pop up in this storyline because the Kingpin is connected to the U.S. military because he really wants to take out Daredevil so badly. So he contacts this crooked general to unleash Nuke. Willis Sampson. This storyline is his debut. Yes, the guy who, give me red, give me white, give me blue. The pill guy. Yep, this storyline is his debut. And for some reason, he's considered a Captain America villain, despite the fact he first fought Daredevil. I don't know why. He's also kind of considered to be a Wolverine villain. Yeah, and the fact that the guy doesn't feel pain because Nuke is a cyborg. Yep. And the whole thing with Nuke is the most weirdest thing related to this storyline. But it is an epic classic storyline for Daredevil. And right afterwards, we have Ann Nocenti take over the writing duties of the book into issue 300. Yeah. That's the thing with Ann Nocenti. She takes over the book. If I remember correctly, I believe she takes over with, 234, I think it is. Because I believe it was 234 to about 300 is pretty much basically Ann Nocenti's run for Daredevil. No. First it's Mark Greenwald, who does the Madcap. Then it's Danny Figueroff. And then it officially starts her run with issue 236. And if you're really curious, how long did Ann Nocenti stay as the writer for this book? Yeah, as the writer of it, not the editor, the writer. She took over, like I mentioned, with 236, and she mostly was the writer until issue 291. So she was on the book from mostly from November 1986 to her final issue being, of course, 291. Yeah, that last issue came out in 1991. So she was on this book for about 5 years. Then you have Dan G. Sester. Yeah, he takes over the book, and I think he's. No, that's not it here. Here we go. I think he's mostly put the writer who does this book for most of the rest of the run. Yeah, he does the book from issues 392 to 309, 312, 332, 338 to 342, story issues that were considered to be really bad, and 380. He did skip some issues, but he is one of the last writers for this book. Yeah, mostly put, he would have cage. He mostly was the final regular writer of the book. Mostly, kind of, actually more like a penultimate writer. And you're thinking, okay, who did the writing for 310 and 311? Well, when it comes up here. Okay, here we go. Okay, he was succeeded by Jan DeMatteis. And how long would he do the book for? He would do the book from 340 to 350. He had a very, very brief run on the book. Yeah, very brief, about 7 issues. And then he's succeeded by Carl Ketzler, who does the book from 353 to 364. And then his successor is Joe Kelly. Yes, Joe Kelly. His run for the book was very brief. He did 358, 365. He mostly did 358 and 365, 375. Yeah. Okay, basically, 310 is Glenn Harding. 311 is Glenn Harding. You're thinking, okay, so all right, who does 333 to 338? Gregory Wright. Yep. That's who does this issue here. I think he do basically all these issues for Daredevil. I mean, could you possibly say that he is a fill-in writer? Okay, he did Daredevil from 228 and 333, 337. Yep. But here's the question. Who did 376, 379? That issue was done by Scott Lobdell. Yep. Scott Lobdell did the Flying Blind story arc. Yep, and that was your last writer aside from C.G. Seuss doing issue 380. But if you think about it overall, I'm going to give my final thoughts on the first 380 issues for Daredevil. I'd say most of it is really good. I'd say about 210, it was actually pretty good. Actually, no, more like 3. Basically, the issues that featured, I would say the only bad issues of the book basically are the one featured the Savage, the one who basically is like a stand-in for Kraven the Hunter. That one issue and the Hunter I didn't like. But aside from that, I never thought a lot of the book was, well, there was one other book. The one other storyline that for fans, I consider this book to be pretty bad, was the storyline that G.G. Chester, the guy who was regarded the book, basically just disowned the storyline because he hated it so much. Because they killed off a character from a storyline that's been virtually been ignored. Yeah. It was also the first and only time the Alan Smithy name was used for a credit. Because directors use that name as a way of basically diss themselves from from a particular movie. Yeah. But Born Again, classic storyline. And with this, I'm done with Frank Miller's run. Yeah. So except for a few hiccups, the first 380 issues, in my opinion, are really good. But when it comes to when it comes to the Frank Miller issues, I'd say a lot of them are pretty good. I think the only thing that I do disagree with, I think that that he did, that I agree Marvel basically just ignored, was the whole thing of Jack Murdock being an abusive father. That part has been ignored because even probably some editors at Marvel must have realized, though, that's a bad idea to pick Jack Murdock, a loving father, as someone who's abusive to his own son. Yeah. But Born Again itself is a classic storyline from Daredevil, and I give it a 10 out of 10. Next up we have is Marvel Masterworks Luke Cage Power Man Volume 3, which collects Power Man 32 to 47 and number 1. The writing for this book: Don McGregor, 32 to 35, Marv Wolfman 35 to 46. Chris Claremont does the final issue of this book and the annual. The co-writers for the co-writers for these issues, the guys who do issues 30 and 39 with Marv Wolfman, is Bill Manslow, 44, Ed Hannigan, and 46, which is Marv Wolfman's last issue, this one published here, is Raj Stifler. The artwork is mostly first started off with Frank Ribbons, who does the first 3 issues. And then they have fill-in artists. For 35, it's Ron Wilson. Actually, it's Murray Severin. 35 is Ron Wilson. 38, 39 is George Acosta. And 47 is, of course, George Acosta. Lee Ellis is 40, 46. For some reason, I think 36 was a reprint. I think so. I think 36 was a reprint. Let me take a look about that. I think it was a reprint. Yeah, I think it was a reprint, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a reprint. So, what happens over the course of these issues? And by the way, the book covers from June 1976 to October of 1977. So, basically, first Luke Cage with Quentin Chase takes on the character Wildfire, who's only here for he's here for like one issue, and then he pops up in Captain America right afterwards. Quentin Chase, who's the detective, has been in this book for a little while. I believe, like, after these issues wrap up, I think he's never seen the book ever again. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why. Shoot, I'm not sure. Come on. Yeah, now, basically, in a way, Quentin Chase is not here for much longer. No, not... Oh, come on. Seriously? Thank you. Okay, so basically after 35, he's basically gone from the book. Yeah, he's only here, like, for the first few issues of this, and then he's gone. Yep, he is gone from the book. Don't know exactly the reason why he's gone. It's just that he stops appearing. So, after fighting Wildfire, then he fights a guy called Spear. Spear is still very much around, except he doesn't fight Luke Cage anymore. Yeah, he's here for a handful of issues, and then he's, like, done. Yeah, he's here until about issue 35. Which is weird, though, the fact that it's okay, so you have Luke Cage fighting some other villains like Mangler. Then by 35, basically, like, half the characters for each of this book are dropped. Yep. Quentin Chase, Spear, Mangler. Yeah, they're basically all done. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, 36 was a reprint, but 37. Yeah, 37 has the first appearance of Chemistro. Yep. Who is actually still a villain who's still around this very day. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, Spear himself, he's here until about 35, then returning into Shadowland Power Man. Yeah, Chemistro. Not around very much, no. He appears for 37 to 40. He's here as the main villain in these issues with a character named Cheshire Cat, who is a guy, and he himself is also featured here for a few issues. Yeah, it's like basically, yeah, let's have Luke Cage fight a handful of villains for a few issues. Like for 4 straight issues. And fight a guy called Big Brother. Yeah, my laptop is not being very cooperative. Yeah, and then basically by 40, yeah, all those Big Brother and Cheshire Cat, they're basically a drop in the book. Chemistro is only seen Flash, so probably because Luke Cage beat him. And then 41 has basically Goldbug. Yes, we have a character named Goldbug. I believe this guy's dead. It's almost like basically the writer just had him fight random thugs. Basically for like no reason. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly the reason for it, but yeah, let's have Luke Cage fight thugs. Like Goldbug, Cheshire Cat, and have them fight him for like a few issues, and then basically we're done. Goldbug himself is only around for, I think, like just 2 issues. Yep, just 2 issues, and then Luke Cage is fighting Golden Mace again. Yep, Gideon Mace, the racist villain. Yep, he's back here for about 3 issues. Yeah, he's back here. Let's see. Here we go. Goldbug is sadly no longer alive. He got killed during Civil War 1. Yeah, he only fights... Goldbug fights Luke Cage for 2 issues in his own book. And then he pops over an Incredible Hulk from a villain for that book. Yep. Gideon Mace also is like a bomb connected to him. And, well... Yeah, unlike before, he was here for like one issue, and then he's back here for 4 straight issues, from 43 to 46. Yeah, 4 straight issues in this book. Yeah, part of a really good storyline, and then basically like 45 kind of wraps it up, and then he gets moved to Peter Parker's Spectre Spider-Man for a few issues, and then it's not seen again until the 2000s. Yeah. Yeah, and they say supposedly that Golden Mace got killed off at 46, but don't worry, he's alive. And then here's something really weird. Let's have Luke Cage fight Hulk villain Zaz for an issue, who last appeared in Incredible Hulk 183, and next appears in Incredible Hulk 285. Yep. But you're thinking, okay, wait, Nick, did you say there was an annual? Yes. They had an annual. Which, this is interesting. Yeah. This is Luke Cage's first and only annual ever released. Yes. He has never had another annual. Not even when the book was Spider-Man Iron Fist. Never had an annual. This is his sole annual. He had Giants' book, which was a reprint. Yeah. And what is in this book? Does he fight some thug who pops up for issues? No, he fights Moses Meganium. He is hired to kill this guy because somehow he survived being burned to death when he was battling the Punisher and Spider-Man in Amazing Spider-Man 15. This is Moses Meganium's second ever appearance. Actually, I think it was in Giant Size Spider-Man. Actually, it was Avengers. It was Giant Size Spider-Man number 4. Yeah, how did he survive? Oh, was a stand-in. Yep, and then next after this, he pops up in Uncanny X-Men. You're thinking, what? He pops up in Uncanny X-Men. Yeah, seriously, he does this. I don't know exactly the reason why he does this for. He just does. And by the way, if you're really curious, is this the sole time he ever fought Luke Cage? The answer is yes. As far as I can tell, he never fought Luke Cage ever again. Yeah, and then pretty much like yeah. But the ending itself was a lot of fun. Yep. Also being able to open Amanda Sheridan, who I think was a love interest for Luke Cage. But sadly, plus she appeared in this annual in like one other book. Yeah, she appears in this book and like one other book. Yeah, her next appearance was in Spiral 134, and that was it. But yeah, I do consider basically Luke Cage to be a lot of fun. Yep. A lot of fun. Okay, but if you're really curious, like, after these 2 books at the pop-up in Kenny X-Men for 2 issues, and then for some reason becomes a recurring villain for Deathlock, pops up in 2 issues of Avengers, an issue of Cable. Yes, Cable. And then, like, pops up 1 issue of Spider-Man, a few issues of Doc Wolverine. The most recent appearance actually in Shara number 5. He's not dead, despite the fact that many attempts to kill him off, but yeah, really fun book. I give the book a 10 out of 10. It's just pure awesomeness at its finest. Yep. And, well, with that, I'm moving over to the Epic Collections for Power Man. Because with issue 48, he gets joined by his new partner, who remained with the book into the final issue. Danny Rand, Iron Fist. Now, here's the strange thing about the next few issues. I covered those already, but I'm very much looking forward to the covering from Luke Cage's perspective, because it just basically Iron Fist just show up in his title completely randomly. Now, I have heard the reason why they did this. Why they had Iron Fist basically team up with form a partnership with Luke Cage. The reason was because this book and Iron Fist were not doing too well financially, so instead of actual books, combine them to one. But here's the strange thing about Pyro Man and Iron Fist. We already had this Marvel Legacy. They only count numbering for this book as part of Luke Cage's numbering, not Iron Fist. But I'm definitely looking forward to talking about Power Man Fist at some point. Okay, so I'm going to give Marvel Masterworks Luke Cage Power Man Volume 3 a 10 out of 10. Okay, so that's a particular review. Also, with this review, I'm done with reviewing Daredevil except for miniseries. Yep. In the case Luke Cage, right after I finished reading the first volume for the 4 epic collections for Power Man Fist, which was one issue I'm going to cover separately because it wasn't collected because of legal issues. There's a few books I'm going to cover. Aside from Power Man Fist, I'm covering the ongoing series Cage 90s, the Cage Mar Max book, New Avengers Cage, and the George Takasti miniseries. Yep, covering these 5 books, and then I'll be done with Luke Cage. I'd probably say of the 4 books, I'd say the one probably taking the longest is probably Power Man Fist. Everything else will be really quick. Okay, so that's a particular view. Next up is Girlfriend. Okay, next video. Bye.